This episode brought to you from Dan's hotel bathroom because he doesn't want his neighbor to hear what he's saying.
Diese ist HOTDROP, wo wir Ihnen erstklassige PUBG-Analyse und elektronisch deutschsprachige Tropfen bringen. Hier sind Ihre Gastgeber, Dano, Lord Beardface und Lemon John. Wir streamen montags und donnerstags um 8 Uhr abends im Osten unter twitch.tv/HOTDROP_podcast. Discord-Link und die Hotline-Nummer finden Sie in den Shownotizen. Zu unseren heutigen Themen gehören PUBG-Update, Duns Hot Takes auf Swedzerland, Codys Rückblick auf Louisville und John sagt auch Sachen. Lassen Sie uns loslegen.
So we got some stuff in here.
Oh, got me.
Get dunked on.
It took long enough. When was the last time we got an update?
That's a phrase I haven't heard in quite some time, I will say. But it has returned and in greater numbers.
Actually, so the other day we had Zach playing on Thursday or on Monday. He played a round with us, and he said a scope would be nice. And I was like, "Oh my god!" He said
it. It's like from the show.
It's like that thing that he used to do.
April 24th was the last update.
Wait, hold on. Are we just getting right into the PUBG update without show notes, housekeeping, all that bullshit?
We don't have any housekeeping.
What housekeeping?
We can talk about me being in frickin'
That's
Sweden
part of the
land.
show.
That's part of the show,
Oh,
Daniel.
Did you even
Come on.
read?
You didn't read the German show notes.
PUBG update.
can't
Dan's hot takes on
understand that.
Swedzerland. Cody's recap
PUBG
of Louisville.
update.
And John says stuff also.
Oh, PUBG update first. Okay, carry on.
Oh my!
Jeez,
Carry on.
Louise.
You need to
Jesus
sober up.
Louises. I will do no such thing, sir.
You
I
need
had the
to
most
drink
delicious
more.
cocktails. Yes, that is right. I tried to. We tried to
We'll
go out
talk
again,
about
and
that
then
later, Dad.
People were like, I'm too tired. I was like, oh. All right, whatever. Quitter.
So
Continue,
PUBG
please.
update. They did a Vikendi loot rebalance.
Are you turning on the record button? You got to turn on the record button right now.
Oh shit! I can't record. Cody, you got it.
I'm recording. Don't worry.
Okay.
Cody's recording. Okay, here's the deal, guys. Okay, so I'm in my hotel room.
Yeah.
I've got a room. It's got a door in it.
Did you drink the Evian?
Yeah, but they keep replacing it every time, so I think I'm spending tens of dollars every single time I drink the bottle. But I've got a door in my room, right? Okay, I got a door. It's not the outside door. It's not the bathroom door. It's a door to another room. I got a conjoined room, and I can hear the guy in there. He's coughing, and I hear him, and I'm worried that he's going to hear me talking about a video game and talking about my life. I don't want him to know about this. So I'm sitting in the bathroom with the door closed. I'm sitting on the toilet, and I'm
With your
talking
pants
to you
off?
guys right now.
I mean, before we got on, you texted that you weren't wearing pants, so you're sitting on
No
the toilet
pants.
without pants, talking into your phone about how the guy next door might be listening to you.
Yes.
We're sending somebody to help.
I got no pants. I got my dress socks on. They're embroidered. They got my initials on them, so if they find me, they know who I am. I got my black boxer briefs and a very deep V, baby. A very deep V.
What about your Cuban link?
I don't have that. This is all I have. And I also have my laptop. I'm sitting on my laptop so I can see the show notes. I don't know why I'm talking with that accent, but I love it.
That might be the
This is
funniest
so
episode.
great. This is so great. This is a great way to start our first non-PUBG episode, even though there is some PUBG in it.
And they adjusted the long-range rifles to hopefully increase the sniper battles and stuff that's going on. So we have an AR spawn increased by 1.4 times, DMR spawns by 2 times, and sniper rifle spawns by 7 times.
7 times.
So
baby.
they were low before. Obviously, this will be a dramatic change to the map. This won't
Massive.
help with any of the loading issues. SMG shotguns and pistol spawns have been decreased slightly. Attachment spawns have been increased slightly, and high-powered scope spawns have been increased slightly. So it sounds like going away from the SMG style that they wanted, it is now more medium long range.
So do you think they just
the best
did
part
it?
of the update?
Do you think that was only because people wanted it, or do you feel like they're trying to get more people to play it? I have noticed a lot of people have been playing a lot of Erangel only, including us. So I don't know if people are going into Sanhok or not on PC or Vikendi very much anymore.
Yeah.
Generally
I'm
speaking,
not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I just think that this has been kind of a thing about the map is it felt really hamstrung. I think not giving players the option to do long range, medium, or close range just, reduced people's preference of the map as a whole. I think Erangel feels very balanced for all of those things.
Oh my god, when they made the loot balance, it's amazing now. Like, I mean, we've always liked Erangel, but it's great.
Right. And there are areas that are conducive to close range, SMG battles. Like I'm thinking like Georgia Pole, that kind of thing, the cities as a whole. And there are places that are way more wide open. It just like allows you to kind of tailor how you want to play. Do you want to play more close range or medium, that kind of thing? And Vikendi felt very like just restrictive because there were so few DMRs. So I think one of the big issues with it is it's like a level 3 helmet type of thing. If they're rare on the map, if somebody finds it, they have a huge advantage over you. So if somebody has an SLR and you have an M4, it's just going to be way harder for you to deal with that person theoretically, as long as they can hit, 2 shots.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's just opening the map up a little bit more. Hopefully we'll get some more people playing on it a bit more, try it out. It seems fun.
Georgia Paul.
So
I'm waiting the entire time to say that. Georgia.
We almost never used to go to Georgia Pole, and when we play with Clay, like that, I realized that's actually a pretty good spot to go to.
Oh, it's great. Crander and D go to South Georgia Pole all the time, or used to when they played the game.
Yeah, now they hate us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We have some bad news. We have some bad news here.
What happened? Uh-oh.
They have balanced the secret cave, which they admit is no longer much of a secret.
Boo.
I have literally never been to the cave.
And by that I mean, yay, because it's dumb as hell.
They have adjusted the loot so that it's more like just a high-value area, and they won't have care packages that spawn inside the cave. But they did say that high-quality loot will still spawn at that location, so they're still enticing people to go. But I think it was gimmicky. And I actually totally forgot about it. So, whatever.
Yeah.
They also added
I was just saying Choco Taco's going to get dunked on because that was his thing. He loved going there on his streams to get those care package weapons. Yeah, all the stream snipers would follow him. That would be pretty fun, actually, if you had a full, like a half a lobby full of stream snipers.
Yeah, we've only got one stream sniper.
Yeah, freaking Ball G, step up your game, bro.
Get your friends, Ball G. Come snipe us.
Come on. This is a rookie numbers. Come on.
Got to pump those numbers up.
They also added the MK47 Mutant to Vikendi, half grip, thumb grip, and laser sight. Remove the Winnie and the R45.
Good. Nobody uses it.
Yeah, good changes. I mean, whatever. If the Winchester's there, I had like one cool kill ever on Vikendi, a castle. One time I one-tapped someone when the SR multiplier was super high. They've nerfed it since then. Right. But you could one-tap someone with level 2 vest, I believe. Something like that. I don't know. You could definitely... I one-tapped a guy with a Winnie, basically, is what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, it's a pretty powerful gun. It's just, you're never going to keep it long-term.
No. Yeah, no.
They did. So we get to play in the moonlight more now, though. They increased that percentage. Mode. That's awesome.
Best mode.
So cool. I like
it. Really helps me find people.
And it doesn't hurt your eyes as bad.
Yep.
So, pretty
Grenades can no longer be thrown through wire mesh, most notably wire fences, which seems like a bad change.
Yeah, like...
I didn't even realize that was a thing. Because why would I?
Can't shoot through it, but before this, you could throw grenades through it.
Yeah. Who knew?
They also added this thing, which we can discuss, tactical map markers. How do you feel about this?
Well, I'll tell you how I feel about it, John. Thanks for asking. I appreciate you asking for my input. I'm not going to use it.
I feel like the idea is a solid one, but I feel like the implementation doesn't really help very much. Like, it's too detailed for such a generic map, I think. Does that make sense? It's like, it makes sense in Apex to tag a piece of, like, you're looking at a thing, so you tag that as, like, you know, spotted somebody, or you know, there's loot over there, or let's pull back, or something like that. It makes sense because you're staring at that location. But when you're talking about like a general map square area, I don't think it works as well.
Right. If they could do the same thing that Apex does, where you can center click, middle mouse button, where what it is, and it identifies that it's enemies or an area or a card, that's awesome. I would use that every single time. That was one of the
people
coolest
would
things
want
about
it.
Apex. But
yeah,
it doesn't have a place in PUBG in my mind.
Yeah.
And clearly PUBG doesn't have the technology.
That's funny.
Got him.
I know, like, there are some people that open up the map a lot and do this, and that's cool and all, but the communication part in this game is the most fun, and very rarely do people jump in for rando squads.
Yeah.
So not having a mic and being able to use these is not, it's a halfway step.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious how helpful our Discord thinks this will be, because, you know, I feel like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be very much use for us.
Also, when is it ever a tactic to go, we're going to defend this place?
I get it now.
Attack.
I was under
danger!
the
Danger!
I was under the impression that I could drop any mark I want, multiple marks. So yeah, now that I realize that you can still only place one mark, you can just add an additional icon to it, like attack or defend or vehicle.
Yeah.
That adds nothing. Because you can just say, yo, guys, I marked my marker on a vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you are serious OCD about keeping comms quiet.
Yeah.
Which would kind of defeat the fun part of this game, which is shooting the shit until you are shot to shit.
Yes, exactly.
They changed the throwables crosshair so that you can identify if you're overarming or underarming it.
I like this one, though.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because
that's nice.
They're a little too similar of stances.
I mean, look at the guy's elbow in this screenshot.
It's like 10 degrees lower.
Yeah.
So
you don't notice until you pull it back.
Yeah, it's just like a little
under it, like palm up versus palm down, or whatever.
It's just like a little quarter circle on the top.
Yeah. That's why, like, the Counter-Strike way of doing it, I feel like is really good. It's still click to throw it, but then if you want to underhand it, you just hold right click. So you're always overarming it unless you hit right click before you release it.
Yeah.
And then you just do that.
There's no way to like aim down sights for a grenade, right? Because right click would typically be that action.
Right.
So if you just take that out and have right click be soft toss and left click be hard toss, whatever.
But it makes no sense to change
to
toggle it for all of the grenades that you have. It's the dumbest. Probably it's the dumbest system they have in PUBG right now.
It really is.
This next thing that's on the list, however, is one thing that I don't know why I've never said it on the podcast, because every time I think about it, I think, God, why haven't they fucking done this yet?
I'm annoyed that I didn't think of this.
I know.
It's how stupid and simple it is and how obvious it is.
So in your mini-map, your friends are downed and out of sight, in a car a million miles away, or just slightly to your left somewhere, there is an indicator with their color pointing in the direction they are and what they are doing. So if Dan is off to my left 300 meters away, not on my mini-map, it says a little symbol
because I went after a care package by myself.
Dan is down to the left with his orange marker. John is in a car on his way to run Dan over for being a dumbass from the south. Like, this is great, and I don't know why they haven't added that before, because I'm constantly going, why the fuck do I have to open my mini-map to see where everyone is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you forgot about Clay. Clay's in the southwest winning.
Yeah. Clay's just down there wrecking face.
Yeah.
So this is really cool. I'm really excited to be able to utilize this when they push it to live, because nobody's on the test server anymore to play it.
Great quality of life change. Without having to open your big map, you can see where people are, or the general direction of where they are.
Yeah.
Sure. It just gives you that extra information that's useful.
Yeah. Now, the parachuting thing here, they've made changes to the parachute, right? And I don't know exactly how I feel about it because I thought it was fairly straightforward to begin with.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem necessary. Yeah, I don't really know why they changed this.
Yeah, they changed the UI so that you have two different gauges, one on your right for speed and one on your left for your altitude.
It's kind of a cooler way to display it, I would say. I don't know if it's really important, but it is kind of neat to see the differences and get the hard numbers for the altitude. Yeah. Well, I guess they were there before, huh?
They were, because the altitude meter was a digital readout of the speed meter. So where it says 868 meters, that was your speed.
Right.
And so it would just go up and down based on altitude, and then the number would increase or decrease. So you're right, it does probably look a little cooler, but is it functional? More functional? Probably not. It's probably just as functional.
I think just as functional, yeah, because now people who have been using this have got the feel for parachuting. You know exactly how far away you should be before you dive. You know exactly how fast you should be traveling at what angle to get to the ground fast enough. So it's kind of just for extra precision, but I don't really think it'll help or hurt in any way. It's just a different way to see the data.
Right. What else we got?
Flare gun.
This is good. The flare gun improvement is good because now you can see if you're going to actually miss the shot or not. So many times have we flubbed the stupid flare gun shots.
Flubbity blub.
Flibbity flibbers. So now you can see if you're pointing in the right direction and not going to accidentally miss the angle that you needed to call in a flare gun. Or, well, care package, I should say.
Mm-hmm. They also added some new stuff to custom matches. Added spawn kit selection option. Camp Jackal map to War Mode Conquest.
We should try that one. We're definitely
due.
In need of a PC community night.
Yeah, we're due.
We are definitely due. And, I mean, we have LAN party in the works, so that's going to be a community night coming in June.
Yeah.
So,
yep, John's coming up for it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, he's going to fly in from over the sea.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun, and we'll make sure that it's earlier in the day on a Saturday, hopefully on a Saturday or whatever, so that everybody can kind of play.
Yeah. Oh, and John will be able to stay up all night because jet lag won't really bother him, so it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He won't even need balls in front of the show.
Oh, yeah. You could reach out to Balls and say, hey, remember us?
Yeah. I threw away so many cans.
I just had to, slowly go through them.
I never even drank a single one after you gave me all those. I mean, by that, the delicious flavors really kept me energized during my late night gaming sessions. Balls.com, keyword HOTDROP at checkout.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Love you. Say it back.
UI UX. They did
some preview stuff, store items. Here's an interesting one. UI improvement to prevent potential unfair advantage while spectating. If houses and other map objects aren't completely loaded when spectating teammates, additional UI will now cover the screen to prevent seeing players that wouldn't otherwise be seen. Once loading is complete, the additional UI will be removed.
Okay.
That's weird. It's kind of interesting.
Okay, so let's jump real. What is your favorite bug fix?
Shoot, I haven't read it. Do it, Dan.
I got it. Fixed an issue which allowed some unintended weapon types to be used from the back seat of an aqua rail. I don't have this on stream because, of course, I wasn't streaming, but I was on the back of an aqua rail. I had a Mini 14, and I used it one-handed to gun someone down off of another vehicle.
Good.
Another boat. Yep, it was incredible. It was fantastic, and I wish they never fixed this. But at the same time, it's my favorite bug fix because it reminds me of the good times.
Yeah.
Remind me of the better times. John?
So I'm still reading through them. I'm sorry. I did not do my research.
I did it when you were talking about the custom games.
Oh. Well, I like personally, I just, for motion sickness, fix an issue where the screen would shake when ADS and leaning against a wall or the corner of objects.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one.
My favorite one is one that doesn't exist, where I can hear grenades from a million miles away as if they're right next to me. Fuck you, Blue Hole. Fix that bug, please. And that is your PC patch 29, soon to be pushed to live servers.
Beautiful.
Now, let's get into it.
The real podcast. Hey guys.
Also, we did get notified earlier today that Xbox and PS4 will be getting an update pushed to their test server, which apparently they decided to use. So there is an update coming. Yeah! That's all we have for now.
And it's going to be that patch that eliminates the 45 ACP vector, which I'm sure Skillspeeder's very sad about. He's been pumping that thing up a few times now on the Chicken Dinner Mountain. But it's going to be the one that switches those ammo types. It gives you that 45 ump, a bunch of other changes as well. But it's been a while. You know what it is on PC. You've seen
Ergo loot balance.
Ergo loot balance, probably.
Yeah.
So nothing you haven't already seen, but it's finally coming to Xbox, which is good. And hopefully with some performance improvements.
Yeah.
I think PCD's time frame of 6 months was pretty close.
Pretty damn close.
Yeah, pretty accurate. That was at least a month ago or 2 months ago. Had to be. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Because remember, I was calling you out on PC patch 27, and I was like, "Oh, remember like when we talked about that? That was like 4 or 5 episodes ago."
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
So that's over a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the episode.
Let's get to the strudel of the episode. You know what I'm saying? The steak frites, if you will.
The
Strudel's
VNR.
the other side of the country.
So how's Switzerland, Dan?
Well, let me tell you, John.
Oh no! Run
you're
dumb
not
as hell.
You're not
I'd really
gonna,
like to talk about how dumb as hell that is.
No, actually, I've had a change of heart.
Did you?
Change of heart.
Because you got drunk?
That, and I realized that where my hotel is just not a great part of town. So today
what
I
we were
finally
trying
got
to
to
tell
go
you.
to the good part.
you're
I
essentially in
know
the
it.
business district.
I
Yeah.
know. My friends are always right. And they always
All my
have their
friends
best
are
interests in
right.
mind.
They didn't hear my plight.
Okay, so tell us your experience now. Well, first tell us your first impression, so that
Yeah.
the listeners can have context.
I should probably back it up. So a long time
Back
ago,
that.
a man loved a woman very much. That man was my father.
Faja.
I was born.
Then father.
And yes, my wife, my wife. I miss my wife. She's so far. My
Aw.
mother and father
Shout out to Kate.
got together. Yep,
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Had me. Fast forward about 29 years and maybe 6 months or so.
You think you're 29 years and 6 months old?
Roughly.
Not
Yeah,
roughly at all. Your birthday was in March.
March, April, May. Okay, well, gestation period. Come on.
4
gotta
months
give
from
him the
now, Dan's
gestation
going to be in
period.
Switzerland.
Anyway, thanks for ruining my joke, Cody. I'm here on a business trip. Landed, very jet lagged, very tired. Got to my hotel. Saw that it took about 10 minutes to get from the airport to my hotel, and saw the 37 franc bill, and was like, that's kind of expensive, but maybe it's just the cabs are really
Wait, they don't
expensive.
use euros?
No, they use francs.
Swiss francs.
Francs.
Swiss francs.
Yeah, it's about a 1-to-1 conversion. It's not that far off. So it was a roughly $35 taxi ride. So I was like, that's kind of expensive, but okay, maybe that's just a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the hotel. Obviously nap immediately for about an hour and a half, so I can hopefully fall asleep at a normal time and then power through.
Are you going minute by minute through your vacation?
Yeah, so far.
Okay,
I'll skip
great.
ahead in places.
No.
I'll skip. Well, I got to back it up even further. Hold on.
Oh my
Reverse.
gosh.
I bought a Nintendo Switch for the flight on a whim, an impulse buy. Fantastic gaming console. Highly recommended.
Great
Zelda
screen.
is great.
Controls feel
Fantastic.
good.
Controls feel so good. Industrial design of the console is great. It clicks in. It feels nice. I love it in my hands.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Big fan. It took me about 2 hours on the flight of playing it in just like game console, like handheld mode before I realized that I could disconnect the controllers and just prop it up on my tray table.
Yeah.
That was life changing. I was like, this is amazing. This is so good.
Yeah.
So they had Super Mario Odyssey or Zelda, and I was like, I've never really played Zelda, so I don't really have any nostalgic connection with that game series. but I got it anyway, considering like I knew it was a super long game, super in depth.
Yeah.
So glad I did. It's so much fun. I barely scratched the surface. Like I haven't even gotten off the plateau island, the first part of it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm still trying to collect the spirit orbs or whatever they are. So I'm only about like 3 hours in, but it's so much fun. Highly recommended. They need to bring like PUBG to the Switch. I would never get off the thing. It's amazing. Anyway, so Nintendo, friend of the show, pick up the Switch today. HOTDROP at checkout.
Offer HOTDROP 19 at the show at the promo.
Yeah. So I got here and rested up a little bit, and then I just started realizing like, holy crap, everything is so expensive. Like I think it's because I'm in this specific area I'm in, and I'm staying at a very, very nice hotel because I think we got like a super good rate. But I'm here for a work conference. It was pretty intense. Like I'm here like giving presentations in front of 50 people plus at a time in like big ballrooms, like in front of
awesome.
Big projector on a podium. I'm earning my pay
on a podium or behind a podium.
Literally on. Yeah, I'm sitting on the podium like a cool teacher, like turning a chair around and like sitting on it.
Yeah,
like Mr. Turner from Boy Meets
Drugs. And the fears of the world, the things you got to pay attention to if you want to be street smart. That's me. Yeah. And so, it was a little bit of stress, like a lot of preparation beforehand, but I did really well. I got good feedback. Happy with that. Just ended today, so I went out in the town and got some drinks.
Nice
celebratory dinner with the group. So it was good. So where we are is just not a really great part of town, which is kind of weird. It's considering like this hotel is like so nice. I would have expected a very nice area, but it's really not that nice.
For the listeners, I call them viewers.
The viewers, yeah.
For the ear viewers.
Yeah.
For the viewers, Dan, Cody and I were messaging each other, and we were like, Dan, how's your trip? And he's like, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
I don't like Switzerland at all.
On,
and we're like, wait,
pull
what?
This shit up.
Yeah, pull up the quotes.
I
was
referenced
it today
this.
or was it yesterday? It was yesterday.
It was
right?
yesterday. Because we were like, wait, what?
When I was out with my friends, I referenced this. So Cody, please read.
He says, shit.
I think I started with like Switzerland kind of sucks. LOL.
I'm almost there. He said, how's the Swiss? And Dan writes, mediocre at best. And I said, how is that possible? Stuff is insanely expensive here. Like most expensive place on earth. $30 for a burger and water.
Okay, to be fair, I have heard that Switzerland is pretty expensive.
I'm in Geneva specifically, by the way, for you viewers out there.
John's response, what? Where are you going? The gold store? At a normal burger place. Hotel is 5 stars and nuts as is. But it was $24 for one drink at the hotel bar. $52 for a cheeseburger and fries. I shit these nuts.
Hold on. I got the menu. Hold on. Pause that thought.
Pause.
So, the menu. This is not, to clarify.
Is this the hotel?
Not the room service.
Is this the hotel restaurant?
This is the hotel restaurant.
Of course it's going to be that fucking expensive.
Yeah.
5-star
hotel.
Cheeseburger. Chicken cheeseburger with fries. I assume that means a chicken sandwich with cheese on it. $46. Chicken nuggets, $40.
How many nuggets?
But it's homemade barbecue sauce.
Are they dinosaur shaped?
They just cook you a whole box of dinosaur.
Better be 40. It better be 40. There's a kids menu. It's a gourmet kids menu. And there is a chicken with mashed potatoes or vegetables for $42 on the kids menu.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't eat at a hotel. That's like the number one rule.
Yeah, no. Well, unless it's a business expense, you can just write it off or whatever. Not write it off, but expensive.
But even so, it's not necessarily good. But the other thing that he brought up is like, there is no identity to the city. We're like, oh, this is horrible. And he's like, maybe I haven't been to the right spots. Super generic European cities with random modern buildings sprinkled around. And at that point, me and Cody,
we both just went, I don't think you're doing it right, buddy.
We're like, you need to not just go to the hotels and office buildings. Like, that just totally sounds like it's a business area, not actually a part of the country or whatever.
What was really going through my head is like, Dan, you've traveled before. You're making so many rookie mistakes.
But so then, like, Cody and I both like come up with some suggestions of what to do because we're trying to save his trip. We're trying to help him play out.
We are trying to help our friend.
Yeah, I was telling Sheen last night, I was like, I need to find Dan some good places to eat. Otherwise, he's going to die.
So yeah. I think within like 5 minutes, we were just sending things that you could do.
Yeah, you're like, this one is like a $2 signs on TripAdvisor and very highly rated. Check this place out.
Yeah, I was like, there are a lot of cheaper places to eat all around Geneva. Maybe you're with the hoity-toity types. Also, I said chocolate shops, museums, the Red Cross Museum, headquarters. Apparently, everybody gives tours of their headquarters in Geneva.
Yeah, they love it here.
It's insane.
Watches everywhere. Museums.
I believe your wording was apparently the Swiss like to show people around their shit a lot.
Every single website I went to, it was like, you could go to this chocolate place. They'll give you a tour. Red Cross headquarters, they'll give you a tour. Evian, they'll give you a tour.
They love their tours. Big on the tours.
But yeah, so I'm glad to hear that it's going better today.
Yeah.
Did you get something good to eat, or what changed your mind? You just got to a different area of the city?
Yeah, we were able to get to a different area. So what's weird is there's like this freak windstorm happening right now where I talked to my friend here, works at my company. He's been to Geneva about, he was here once for like 3 weeks straight on a client visit. So he's been here many, many times. And he's like, this is not normal. So there's like 40 or 50 mile an hour wind gusts coming off the lake. And they're like, the waves are crashing over the walls and onto the sidewalk and stuff. So it's like super, super windy. And it's like 60 degrees, but it feels like probably 40 because the wind is just constant 30 mile an hour gusts, like pushing you back a little bit. Like it's pushing against you pretty hard. So we haven't really ventured too far, and it's been cold. So like the first couple of days, I only got about, I don't know, a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk at most away from my hotel.
Yeah.
And we had some,
which again is like
food
10 minutes away from the airport.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so also our hotel happens to be right next to the red light district, which I didn't realize at first. And so and no one told us or anything. Like we were just walking down the street and we come across
these hookers come out.
Yeah, literally. So we're walking down the street and we like pass this building, and I was like, that's weird. There's like girls like just sitting on chairs in front. And there's a girl sitting on a chair in front of a window, what looked kind of at first glance to be like a hair salon, because there was another girl standing over her, like fixing her hair. But her shirt was like very open. There was no nip, but it was like super open.
Doesn't count unless there's
weird.
Nip.
So you were looking to see if there was nip, though.
Oh, totally. Well, if it's that open, it's like you have to just take a gander, right?
What?
Love my wife. Just to be honest, come on. It's just like, what? That's weird. Okay. And so I keep walking, and then I look to my right again, and like there's a bed like in the window. And then I look up, and it says something like Golden Sex Palace or something. I was like, oh, okay. That's not what I expected. I didn't realize where I was. I'm very out of my element here.
It's so weird. There's a bed in the window. That doesn't seem like an opportune place to
some people
prostitute.
might be into that, man.
Not at all.
I don't know what their decency laws are in Geneva.
Not a clue.
Some sort of armistice on
clothing,
sex windows.
Sex windows. There was a curtain, like the curtain was open, so like they could shut the curtain on the bed, I guess. But like the fact was, if you open the curtains, like there's just a bed. It's just very like 2 feet from the window and floor to ceiling window. And so like we kept walking, and then I started looking around, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of like scantily clad women around here. Like this is very weird. Like I'm just not used to this.
I'm not seeing any nip.
I'm looking around. I'm not seeing nip, man.
No nips. And
they didn't have nips.
No, it was just like there weren't any. That was the weird thing. It's just not that they weren't showing them; they weren't there.
Yeah, it was like whole boob, but no nip.
Yeah,
don't get it.
It's very weird.
Like Kyle XY, no belly button.
Yeah,
dude, that shit freaks me out.
Very similar. I really was very upset about that show. They just completely dropped the ball on that. That could have been something great, and then they were just like, nope.
Oh, I was upset about the nip part.
Oh yeah, no, that too.
Or I mean the navel. I got nips on the brains.
Sheen's over there looking at you like, what the?
She's away, safe distance away.
Oh man. So anyway, so we keep walking. Like I was just like, okay, that's weird. But then we realized where we were, and we just kept walking. And like it was just a very dirty area. It wasn't feeling very safe. And it was only like 9-10 o'clock at night. Not the best spot to be in, I think. And then that night, and then the night after that, we just had very bad meals. We just had very bad food. It was just not good, and extremely expensive as well. So like it's like the mediocre food apparently in this area is very, very expensive regardless. Yeah. And if you want really good food, it's just like obscene expensive. But that I just realized is specific to this area. So today after the event was over, we took a walk. It was probably like a 20-25 minute walk into more of the downtown area, like nice cobblestone streets that were very narrow with like really nice boutique shops. And we found a really cool cocktail bar where the guy was like super theatrical making his cocktails. Nice. It was like fun to watch kind of thing. Yeah. And it was one of those places.
When you go to a good bar where they know how to make drinks, it makes all the difference in the world.
It totally does.
A couple of years ago, we went on a work trip to Albany, and I was really excited to try and find a really good bar. And I thought like, oh, Albany might have like a speakeasy or something like that. And they do. And they have like a legitimate speakeasy. There's no advertisements, and they have a website, but the website really doesn't give any information. It just has a picture of what the place looks like and says like, you need to call if you want to sit down and eat. But you go, and there's this old pool hall, like massive stone building. And it's on a hill. Albany's big on their hills. And so if you go down the stone steps of this beer hall, there is a little red shitty awning, like 4 feet domed awning. And there's a red light underneath it. And you go and knock on the door, and they open the door, and they just ask if they can help you. And you have to ask them if there's room at the bar. Like that's the only way to get in.
Oh, wow.
And they go, do you have a reservation? And you'll say no, and then they'll make a decision on whether or not to let you in. Wow. And so if you're like dressed kind of like an idiot, or you're hammered or whatever, I've seen them turn people away. And like they'll be like, yep, come in. You are not allowed to use your phone. If they see your phone, they'll give you one warning to put it away, and a second time they'll boot you. There's live music every single night, but it's just like 3-piece jazz bands. Like super weird, awesome. But like you go in, it's real dark. It's like a basement, but every single drink is $12 or $14 depending.
Yeah.
And they have like 15 drinks, and all of them are under sections. So there are like 5 sections, 3 drinks per section. So like gin drinks, vodka drinks, these weird like spiced drinks, and like scotch drinks or something like that. And we've been there like 3 times now. And you can go in and you can try and like trick them into something. And so like we got real hammered one night, and you can only have like 3 drinks, and the 4th drink really sends you over the top. Mm-hmm. And Nikki one night was like, okay, one more drink. And he's like, well, what do you want? She goes, I want a drink that tastes like a leaf. And without missing a beat, the guy goes, what kind of leaf? She's like, maple? And I go, out of all the things you could have asked him, you said maple leaf?
That's like the easiest one.
Yeah. So like he made her this drink, and it tasted like a leaf. I don't know. I
would have gone with quaking aspen, by the way.
It was so weird. I had this one drink that I'll never be able to recreate. It's called the Heart of the Rough, right? And it definitely had like a little bit of orange juice in it, but there was this thing called the Art in the Age rhubarb, which is like a rhubarb spirit. And it was like the greatest thing that I've ever had in my entire life. It was so good. And so like when you find those bars, like yeah, that was my whole story. Go ahead.
Yeah, like this place wasn't exactly like to that level, but it was the type of place where you could go in and say, I like basil and strawberry. Right. Make me something like that. And the dude would be like, oh, yeah, I got you. And like spoke perfect English, because a lot of people around here don't really speak English. That's very French, because we're basically on the France border. Mm-hmm. So
the French
it's nice. It's kind of refreshing sometimes. Like every single place I've gone out so far has been French speaking, and you can say, oh, English please, and they like, it's enough to get by, but to have a conversation with the bartender isn't something that I've been able to do here so far.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And just like watching him do the drink making was like, whoa, like this dude has been doing it for a long time with flair, and like with, not pretentious, but like just enough pretentiousness that it made it exciting to watch.
Yeah.
And of course, everything was free because my company paid for it, which was really nice too.
Hell yeah.
But I ended up getting like a whiskey drink that was kind of sour, but it was citrusy. I don't exactly remember what was in it, but it was fantastic. It was really, really good.
Sounds great.
That was today.
So yeah, that was tonight. Yeah, I just got back from that. And so like we walked back and we were about to go out again. And if we did, I obviously wouldn't be on this call.
Yeah.
But we were trying to go out again, but then we realized we should probably go to bed because tomorrow we're going to go do a hike and get out in the countryside a little bit.
So are you
are
you done with conference stuff now? You have 2 days?
Done. Yeah. So it was Tuesday and Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, obviously. Well, I don't know if obviously the viewers don't know, obviously what day it is.
Obviously.
But obviously it's Wednesday. And so tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to do a hike. It's going to be nice out. Friday, I don't really have any plans because my friend I'm going to go do the hike with, her husband's here. He's also like a really good friend of mine as well. So she might want to go hang with him. I don't know. So it might end up being me exploring the city a little bit.
Do it.
So, and then
Yeah,
I'm going
go
to get a
take a
bunch
tour.
of like footage and stuff and, film some things and get some pictures.
Go
and all
see
that
any
stuff.
of the museums.
It's going to be shitty on Friday though. It's going to rain.
Yeah, but
That's
I'll
a
make it work.
great time to go and know
best
it.
time to go and do tours of museums and shit like that.
Yeah, I'll make it work. So the hotel is actually in a really cool spot in terms of the view. Like it's right next to the lake. So we have a great spot on the lake with boats in front of us and like there's a couple Alps peaks in the background.
Ooh.
It looks really nice. But it's just been so windy that going outside has been really annoying and not exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's going to be a little bit warmer and then I can check out some other areas. But I finally realized like, yeah, if you go that way, like there's a more historic kind of district, there's more shopping, there's more like churches and old buildings to look at and different things to do.
There's so much history in Geneva.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my first impression was like, wow, this place kind of sucks because it's just like everyone who comes here is just on business and everything's super expensive and like everyone's kind of rude and the food sucks and it's just not really a fun place to be.
Yeah.
But that's all within like a square mile of where I am. So finally I got out of that. But it also didn't help that I talked to my coworker who's been here a few times and he was like, yeah, I hate it here. It's awful. It sucks. So I was like, oh, okay. So this is all it is. And so that was my first impression. And I was like, wow, this is kind of garbage. But now that I'm getting out and about, I'm realizing there's more to it. But I definitely felt more of a connection with Italy when I was in Florence because of all the landmarks. And obviously, my family's Italian. And so the food is amazing. I love Italian food of all kinds. Like we never had a bad meal. Like I guess you'd have to go out of your way to try to find a bad meal in Florence. Everything was so good. People were actually pretty nice. And all the landmarks were really cool to visit, like the Duomo and the Bell Tower and all the other places, the churches, and overlooking the city is just beautiful. So
the city
this place kind of reminds me of that, but not quite. What were you saying?
The city overlook is just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, definitely. We went up there at dusk and got the sun setting on the city, and it was beautiful.
I would love to go to Europe
people,
someday.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is my second time here in just less than 6 months.
It's crazy.
Hey, this is like my 6th time here in less than
8 months, I guess.
Nuts. Yeah, one day I'll get there, but Nikki wants to see the US first. She hasn't really traveled a whole lot in her life.
Yeah.
So do I though.
Yeah.
I think it's good to do both. Like don't just focus on the US because there's tons of cool places in the US that you can go to and go see.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't let that keep you from seeing all the cool shit in Europe, even though it's harder to do with kids.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you should do it earlier. Like that was the one thing I realized when we were there is that so many people, it seemed to me at least, like a lot of people there were older on vacation and were like, this is the first time they were ever there. So we sat down at a bar once at this place in Italy. It was like right over the, what is it, Ponte Vecchio, the bridge there, the covered bridge. And so we sat down
on
at
the
a
south
bar.
side? Yeah, because you were coming from the north side.
Yeah. So like we were literally like right at the entrance to, you could probably like Google Maps this to find out where this bar is. We were right on the entrance to the bridge on, whatever side it was, I'm not sure. And there was like a takeout window sort of right at this bar. So you could walk up to the bar, there were tables outside, and then you just walk up to the takeout window and order your drink at the bar, and they'd hand it to you through the window, and then you just sit at a table outside. Yeah. So we were sitting there, and this older couple came up to us, and he was like a retired eye doctor, and she was I forget what she did, but she was, you know, probably making a ton of money. But they were like, yeah, this is like our first time in Italy, like we're having our like a mini honeymoon because we never really did that when we were younger. So
Wow,
this is really exciting for us, and I can't believe like you're so young, but this is your first time here, so you should be really proud of that. And then we were like, yeah, like that's really cool, because so often like people go on honeymoons and then just go to the beach, and like you can go to the beach whenever, but like we're not really that kind of people. Like we want to go see things while we can,
right.
and like we're so glad that we took the opportunity to do it.
My
It's
mom,
not something that everyone has the opportunity to do.
she's in London for the first time, and like she has only been out of the country a few times. One or a couple of times we're in Mexico. She grew up in California, but like she went to Russia with a friend of hers in the past like 4 years or something, and that was the first time she's been out of the country in so long. So it's like it's really cool that, you know, I'm able to do all this European traveling, which is not something that my parents had like the good fortune of being able to go and do in their youths.
Mm-hmm.
I think like when I was a kid, we went camping a lot. We did a lot of like short trips to places. I was an adult the first time I went to like Florida. And since then, like I've been out west by myself. I went back to Florida. I like going south a little bit less than I used to, but I still very much like just kind of traveling when I can, where I can. But like it's always been on my list to go to Europe and do that. I actually hear the Russian people are incredibly nice, and like Russia is a really cool place to go and visit. No matter what picture like the media paints of going to Russia.
Yeah.
But that's on my list. But
yeah, I think there are probably some cultural differences that are easy to get like tripped up on, but outside of that, it's probably pretty great.
I mean, that's probably the case with most places you travel to, right? Like even the places that have very good
and reputations.
Yeah, thank you. Like it's probably a little bit scary to go to those places and be in a totally different place. Like that's probably why it's so hard for people to like legitimately move places. Like I
mean, without getting too deep into politics and anything like that, like I felt a little bit of that when I went to Savannah for St. Patty's Day and to meet up with my old roommates. It's a very different climate down there politically and historically, I would have to say.
I have some
not what I'm used to.
I have a couple of weird stories to tell you about my trip to Louisville too. So
yeah. So, but in summary, I would say like if you have the means and you're thinking like, oh, I want to go on a vacation, but Europe just seems so far away. Like it's really not that out of reach.
Charlie found a really cheap flight to the U.S. You can probably get some good deals to get out here.
Yeah. And I mean, like I'm on a business expense kind of trip. So my ticket, I think, was under $1,200 round trip, which is a lot of money. Like legit, that's a lot of money. But that was me 3 weeks before the trip being like, oh, I should probably book my ticket now. And I don't really care what the price is because my company's paying for it. I'm getting the points on my card. So I'm buying it with my own card, but my company's going to reimburse me. So if you take the time to look, and you can do like a 2-week vacation, because I don't recommend 1 week because it takes a little while to get over that jet lag. But if you can do it, there's a whole world to see. You know, I just highly recommend getting out here if you can, because it's perspective changing. Like it's not life changing, I would say, but it's like, wow, like it can be way more out there than you're used to.
Yeah, I think the open-minded thing is just really important. And I will say that like every ticket that I bought to come out to London was around like $700, and those were like the not super cheap tickets and the not super expensive tickets, kind of middle of the road. Like, yeah, I need some baggage, I need some dinner, that kind of thing. 700 round trip, which is a decent amount of money, but that's without any like deals or anything. Yeah. So you can get some solid deals to get out here and have fun, travel around, make a day of it.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple more days here. I'm here till Saturday. So flying out Saturday afternoon.
Well, I'm glad you're having more fun.
I'll have a lot more fun in the next couple of days, I think, and not be stressed over about all the presentations I had to do.
Yeah. Cool.
For sure.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Solid. Good stuff.
All right.
That was traveling with Dan.
Yeah. Now let's do traveling sort of with Cody.
Can we have some like theme song maybe, or some kind of intro on that?
But it's traveling. Traveling with Cody.
Nailed it. So last week, what day did I even leave? Thursday? Last week, Thursday, we left here to go to Louisville, Kentucky for the the National Archery in the Schools tournament.
So cool.
So this was the national tournament because my daughter's 4th and 5th grade team won the state title in archery. It is their first. It was their first time competing ever. The team was formed this year.
Got a bunch of Hawkeyes over there.
Yeah, and she wanted to join because I bought her the Hunger Games for Christmas, and she read them, and then she was obsessed with it, and they started the archery team.
Oh my gosh. It's perfect timing.
So she did not do very well in states, but her team won. Like, you can score a total of 300. She scored a 48.
Wow.
You know, like, she hit the mark, and I was like, cool. She did a thing. She's
That's awesome.
And then she was like, I'm into this. I'm going to get good at this. Can I have a bow? So Nikki and I bought her a starter bow and a target. And so she's been practicing all the time.
Mm-hmm. Is it like a compound bow, like a real fancy thing?
Yeah. Yep. It's a compound bow.
Nice.
And so she's been practicing. She's been really into it. And we left. It was a 9.5-hour drive, closer to a 10-hour drive probably. And we left at 6 a.m, and we got there at like 4:30 after like a couple of stops. And it really wasn't bad. Like the drive down, I love road trips. I've always loved road trips.
I like road trips too.
This was the first long road trip that we've taken together, all 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
We only had to play the shut the fuck up game like twice.
Nice. Success. Dad's favorite game.
And it wasn't even that I was generally annoyed. It was just like they don't pay attention to what we are paying attention to. So like we're trying to drive through rush hour traffic somewhere in a city we don't know. And they're like, let me tell you about a series of unfortunate events. And I was like, I don't give a shit right now. You need to be quiet.
My dad used to do his thing where it was everyone played Dad's favorite game, which was who can stay quiet the longest.
Yeah. See, your dad's much vividly. More kind than I am. I said, let's play a game. And Bronte says, what's the game? And I say, it's called Shut the Fuck Up. And she goes, well, how do you play the game? And I say, we see how long you can shut the fuck up. And then she goes, I'm going to lose that game. And I said, you already did, B. You already did.
You already did.
You're on my list now.
So they think I'm funny. So
glad someone does.
What I also found out throughout this thing was that Nikki has been recording me lately. When I go
she told me. She
when
texted me and said, "I have gold. I have hot drop gold for you." She says.
So if I can get those from her, I will play some of the best ones from this week.
Oh my god!
I've had some good ones this week that she has been secretly recording, including my Jeep Gladiator experience and the depression that followed.
That needs to be an episode right there.
So for all of
the Gladiator
our
experience.
ear viewers, I have been dreaming of a Jeep Wrangler pickup truck since like 2011.
I didn't even know it existed until you told me about it 3 days ago.
2001.
I have like pictures in my phone from all of my old phones of like people who have cobbled together Jeep Wranglers and made them pickup trucks. Not the Comanches or the old Gladiators, but like they took Wranglers and they made them into pickups. And so for the last 2.5 years, I have been Googling Jeep Gladiator every single day. Well, Jeep pickup every single day. They released in November. They had the auto show where they showed what they looked like. In April, they were showing like all the specs, and they just released the prices. And then like 2 weeks ago, they started making them, and now they are hitting dealerships, right? And so I was driving home the other day, and there were 2 in the lot in my local dealership. So I immediately
Why'd you do this to yourself?
We were on our way back from Louisville when I noticed that I wasn't driving home from work. We were driving back from Louisville. I remember now. And I was doing my daily Googling, and it said that they were there, but they weren't like pictures. They were like stock photos. And I was like, oh my God, they're there. And so this is like 11 o'clock at night on a Friday. And I made Nikki drive past it on our way back.
No.
And so I pulled into the dealership at 11:30 at night so I could get out and look at these things. And the next day I went down and I drove one. It was the greatest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was everything I wanted it to be. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. I felt like a king. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to buy this. And Nikki was like, listen, if it's within our price range, like, go for it, man. Like, you deserve this. Go for it.
And then you saw the price tag.
And then he told me it was going to be $867 a month.
Oh my gosh.
And I went, here are the keys back, sir. And so I was laying on the couch later on moping about it, and she was recording me moping about it, and so that'll be a nice fun one for you guys to listen to.
What?
Do you remember when Dumbledore died?
I don't Harry Potter.
Yeah, but do you remember how I was when Dumbledore died?
Yeah.
This is worse. I was in it. I had it in my hands. When I had to hand it back the keys, I got really sad.
What'd he say?
He said he'll call me when they get other ones in, but I can't even afford those.
Just wait.
Do you know who you're talking to? Do you?
Yes.
Who are you talking to?
You.
Me. You're talking to me.
You're losing your shit.
You're talking to me.
Are you twitching? What is wrong with you? It's a truck. You'll get it eventually. It's not going anywhere. Don't look at me like that. You're going to break your neck.
Good. Living.
Oh my God. You're so dramatic.
I'm not dramatic. You're dramatic. You dramatic bitch.
Get a hold of yourself. You're throwing a tantrum. You're like a kid.
No goddamn tantrum. Remember when I bought you a $68 book? This is only 1,000 times more than that.
That was more than that.
10,000 times more than that. Only.
Absolutely enthralling cinema, but it would.
And you could do a trade-in. I couldn't even trade in my old book.
He was gonna give me $5,000 for that.
Stay off the internet.
I can't. I cannot.
Don't do it.
I cannot. I cannot. I cannot.
Don't buy things.
Why? What if it's just like Apple movies or something?
No, stop. You're buying just to buy.
I need to.
You're never going to save money to buy your truck if you just... You're terribly human right now. It's my day. Buy me something.
What do you want?
Oh, that's not how that works.
I'll buy everything. Fucking shit.
But
I hope
anyway,
so.
we're in Kentucky, right? So we go to this. We go to the hotel. We check into the hotel. Kids wanted to go swimming, so we go down to go swimming. We're pretty beat, right? We had just driven 10 hours, and it's a quick trip. We weren't there to like sightsee.
Yeah.
And so we went down for breakfast the next day, and we were eating the breakfast, which was actually a really good breakfast in the hotel that they comped you for being a rewards member. And we heard somebody at breakfast say, remember, don't talk to N-word when we're out.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
Are you kidding me?
so like Nikki and I were just kind of like talking to each other, and then there was like a break in the conversation, and we heard that, and we just kept staring at each other like, whew. They didn't even like try to lower their voice. That was just like what they felt was appropriate to say in a public room filled with 60 people.
Jeez.
And I was
Wow.
like, for a second, like, because Louisville is actually a very nice place. Like, it was a really nice looking city. It was really cool, and most of the people were incredibly friendly. And then these people said that, and I was like, oh, this is rough. And so we kind of were like, let's go. We'll finish our breakfast and go over to the thing. And so we go to the conference center or whatever it was, the expo, which is really close to the Kentucky Derby, like stupid close. And there were like 15,000 people at this archery competition.
Whoa.
It was insane.
That's so many people.
It was insane. And it was all enclosed too. So there were 15,000 people inside of this domed building, essentially, with 200 arrow archery, whatever you want to call it. And we're thinking like this is a school function, right? So we were just expecting like a bunch of camo and arrows and stuff like that, because that's, it's where we're from. That's what I assume most archers do. It's a pretty country type sport. We walked in and it was much more conservative than I had ever imagined for a school function. It was
also
all Trump advertisements, all don't tread on me's, a lot of church related stuff. And like, I mean, I don't think it's any secret. We're not Trump supporters. We are not Christians. But like, we weren't taking offense to it. It was just very much like, whoa, I did
very in your face.
Did not expect this to be a thing. And so it was just like really a culture shock, because like we're not in New York specifically anymore, because New York is a very different animal when it comes to the separation of things, I guess, like I live in a really conservative area, but I work at a very liberal institution. Higher education tends to lean more liberal in terms of anything. And so walking into a school function and seeing things that were very political in nature and very Christian related, it was just kind of jarring. The kids had a couple of questions, and we were just like, wow, we had to like kind of play it off, because I don't want to tell them how to think or whatever. But I was like, oh, nope, this is just, part of the South. Like, this is kind of what it is. So it was very, it was just very strange. And I don't want to link the first story with the second story. They are two separate stories.
Right.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, that's the crazy thing about New York, the state, because you've got New York City, which is obviously super liberal. Like, it's one of the biggest cities on the planet. I believe it to be super liberal. Maybe I have the wrong impression of it, but it seems that way to me. And then you go upstate and also like Western New York, you've got places that are essentially trying to be or very similar to Southern culture.
Yeah.
It's so diverse. It's so diverse.
The southern tier of New York State is like a very a lot of people in my area, within like 100-mile radius running east to west, there are Confederate flags flying everywhere.
Yeah, like painted on the back of pickup trucks, or like hanging up like antennas of your car, or like even like on your house.
When we were growing up, I just assumed that was kind of like part of how everyone in every country area in the United States was.
Yeah,
that's not true.
No, definitely.
Very specifically, the southern tier of New York State is, it's like the south of the north in terms of like, we're pretty red in this area, and the Confederacy is pretty well regarded, I would say. It was just it was weird being there, because like by myself, I probably wouldn't have thought much, but like because my kids started asking questions about it, I was like, never thought I would have to explain. I don't know.
Not really a conversation you expected to have.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting for sure. I don't think, I wouldn't say like it was offended of any kind. Like that would be a stupid thing to be offended by. It was just like jarring to see a school function, because in New York State, you would never see any political affiliation, never see anything religious of any denomination or faith. But it was everywhere. They were having like BB gun shoots for this evangelical group. And so the evangelical people were like, yo, you want to shoot a BB gun at these targets? And we were like, cool. But what you were shooting at were like things about Satan. And then they were like giving you a Bible study for it. And I was like, whoa, that is super, super interesting. But anyway, B scored her personal best. She got 149.
Whoa.
It was awesome. Yep. There were a couple of people on her team that scored in the high twos. It was great. It was awesome. They didn't place, obviously, but they did. I think they got 88th in the 4th and 5th grade out of 500 some odd people. So they did pretty well.
Nice.
She got a couple of bullseyes. It was really cool to see. She was so excited. It was really, really, really awesome. The food was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I had catfish sandwiches, and it was just incredible. They were the Hush Puppies were the best Hush Puppies I'd ever had in my life. And I love going south because they have real sweet tea and not this bullshit sweet tea that you get at McDonald's. I was in heaven. I really, really, really tested my limits there because cigarettes were $5 a pack. And I was like, Nikki, does Louisville Cody smoke? And she's like, he better fucking not. And I was like, all right, cool, just checking.
It's a good woman. Good,
Yeah.
good.
It still sucks. It's super weird because I haven't had a cigarette since January 9th. And I have my Juul, and that's all well and good, I guess. But
At the Jewel.
when I am tempted to have a cigarette, it takes everything in me to be like, nope, 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 nope. But
Yeah.
I don't think about it until they are literally right there.
Yeah.
And not even when people are smoking around me. When I got there and it was $5.50 a pack, I was like, shit. Okay, just walk away. Get a Slim Jim and get the fuck out, man. So.
This is your Juul. Do you do nicotine juice?
Yeah, they don't have them without nicotine, but it's not.
Oh, I thought they did.
Not the Juul specifically, but
Oh,
I don't
Juul.
know. It
Okay.
doesn't even give me a head rush. Sometimes I forget it. It's just kind of there. Especially when I'm sitting here gaming. That's when I use it the most. Or at work, I go out a couple of times, but
Yeah.
it's I don't need it the way that I needed cigarettes.
Right.
So when you're gaming and I hear you breathe out heavily, that's you hitting the Jewel?
Yeah, bro. Like this.
Okay. I didn't know if it was that or you just holding your breath and then breathing heavily.
I do tend to do that, and I don't know why I do that.
It's exertion.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
same thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
when we're playing
blood
PUBG,
pumping.
though, I will definitely just hold my breath and realize I'm not breathing. Go,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So, but I did not get to see sites again, but I would definitely recommend Louisville to anybody because I was looking around, obviously, at all the food places and things you can do. And there's so much to do there. I wish we had had more time, but it was pretty great. I feel like my story seemed like it was a little weird, but
Yeah.
it was just drastically different from New York, and that was my only point with that.
Right.
I don't want to knock
Cool.
anybody who is a Trump supporter or a Christian because to each their own, but it was just
Except those people at the restaurant. Fuck those people.
yeah, that was not
Yeah.
that was not cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at them, but had I known who said it, I probably would have gone up and said something. I'm not one to hold my tongue,
Yeah.
but it was a little rough to hear somebody say that so openly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was traveling with Cody.
Nice.
Fantastic.
We'll have another
Nice.
recap of that in 2 weeks when I get back from Kitty Hawk. First in flight mode trucks.
Nice.
Trucks.
That sounds
Awesome.
fun.
We're not telling the kids that we're going, and so we're gonna get them in the car, and we're gonna go. But Nikki's like, can we give clues? And I was like, no, because you always spoil the surprise. And then she's like, no, let's just give them clues. And I said, fine, we'll give them clues. Let's put wild horses in the yard, or we'll put sand in their beds, or seashells in their shoes. And she's like, I said clues, not pranks. And I said, I hear pranks.
Weird flex. Weird flex. Awesome. John, you traveling at all?
Yeah, I actually just got back from the Lake District, which is a national park here in the UK. It's up kind of bordering, parts of it border Scotland. So it was very reminiscent of my time up in Edinburgh when Sheen and I went on vacation.
Edinburgh.
Yeah, last year. It was really fun. So we drove up with my parents who are new to the UK scene. Well, my dad has actually been here once before, but we wanted to go up to the Lake District because we wanted to see some countryside, get some hikes in. It's supposed to be gorgeous, lots of big lakes, as you might expect. Beautiful landscapes, which I don't think I posted any in the Discord, but I'll have to drop that into IRL drops because we got some pretty cool photos. But we decided to rent a car because we kind of wanted to go around to each part of the Lake District, or at least, hit a couple of different places in the Lake District because it's so big.
Is it more countryside, or are there like cities and stuff around them? I'm trying to picture it in my head.
So it's like there are cities and there are towns inside. We stayed outside this small town called Grassmere, which super freaking tiny. I can't even like 2 streets basically intersecting created this small town, and we stayed
Weird.
like a few miles outside of it, basically 10-minute walk, so like a mile, I guess, outside of it. So the only problem with that is we wanted to rent a car, but they only rent manuals. My dad is the only one who's like super proficient with that. He's never driven in the UK. He also has not great depth perception because of an eye accident when he was a young lad.
No.
I'm not laughing at the eye accident. I'm laughing at the phrasing.
Yeah. So anyway, we rented a car, started out, and he almost immediately nearly sideswipes a bunch of parked cars.
Oh, perfect.
Like super close. My mom is like, whoa, you are way too close over here.
Way to go, Lemon Dad.
Yeah. My dad thinks that she's being like overly dramatic about it. Like, yeah, maybe he was close, but not as close as she's reacting. But he was close to hitting that car. I was sitting behind her in the back seat, and man, was it very nearby. I looked at Sheen and just like started like mouthing like, oh my gosh, that was so close. But I didn't want to like pile on to like the no dad, that was too close type of thing, because part of it like was confidence thing. Like mom was doing the right thing, like telling him what he should do, but he also needed to be able to like feel like he could do it, because I felt like he was really shaky about it. So I was trying to be as supportive, but also not like cutting my mom down when she's like, no, you're too close, that kind of thing. So it was a 5.5 hour drive to get up to the Lake District. Most of it was on the highway, but anytime we went into town, man, it was just super stressful. I had to like, for some reason, I could recognize the GPS versus the landscapes of the road better than my parents could. So I kept having to say like, no, not this exit, like the next one, or that kind of thing. They probably would have figured it out if I hadn't said it. But basically I was reading the roundabouts on the GPS and calling out where to go in the car on occasion. So anyway, every time, the super narrow streets in the small towns freaked us all out. The last 2 hours or so, Dad was kind of hitting the gas really hard, and we didn't really know exactly why, but he was, because of that, when we were taking corners, it got really close a couple of times still. And like, man, but it turns out he really had to pee, and he was like traumatized by being so close and realizing later how close he was, and thinking about what might have happened if he had just been a little bit closer, like where we left from. And also later on, as we were close to the corners driving through the small countryside. So I think he was just kind of freaked out and had to pee, and was just kind of rushing to try and get it over rather than taking it slow and steady and making sure doing it correctly. So he was kind of freaked out. We got to the hotel that we were staying at. Super nice. We ate dinner, really tasty food, had delicious lamb.
I love lamb. Lamb is very underrated and not very popular in the United States, and I think it's so delicious.
It's my favorite meat.
Wow,
Clams
that's a
my
bold
top.
statement.
Sheen got fish and chips, and I got the lamb, so we got to split that up, and it was super tasty. Both of it. We even got some mushy peas with it.
Oh, is it minted?
It was.
Get
And we actually found out from watching an Anthony Bourdain episode that you're supposed to add a little bit. Well, you're not supposed to, but certain areas of the country will add some of the malt vinegar to the mushy peas.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Mix it up a bit, and that gives it, that brings out some of the flavor. Vinegar's really good at doing that. So we tried that, and it was a lot tastier than just plain minted peas. But anyway, really good fresh fish and chips. The next day we drove later on. Yeah, we drove later on in the day, and we had kind of talked it out with Dad, and he kind of figured out what he was doing a little bit better, had a little bit more confidence. So it went much, much, much better. But we went on to this really cool hike, a few miles. I think we ended up walking a grand total of like 10 miles that day or something. Just really lovely countryside, really beautiful, like mountains and valleys, the greenery, all the sheep running around, the nature surrounding it. It's freaking fantastic. I really, really love the English countryside. It's just gorgeous.
I want to go.
It's really cool. I'll send you some photos. We have some cool ones. We ended up, Stonehenge is a stone circle type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
My mom really wanted to go to one, and there was one up there really close by, so we ended up going. Yeah, it's like it's a thing that
I thought it was like
done.
the Stonehenge was all there was.
So
there is the Stonehenge, but there are other like kind of mystical stone circles. Not exactly knockoffs, but like I don't know what the purpose was, whether it was used for like.
No one knows. That's the point, John.
Yeah, but the point is that there was more than one, and it wasn't one mystical location. There was a bunch of mystical locations or whatever.
Are they bigger?
Well, that
than
kind of ruins the mystique a little bit.
So the one we went to,
the mystique, Dan.
If there's more than one,
yeah, there's more than one because
mystiqueless.
there are things that they don't know how they were built because they're so fucking old.
Would it be
but if
weirder
there's
to
just one,
find
it'd be like,
one
oh, it's the
alien
one.
or like 100 aliens?
One.
Man, we could fill a whole podcast on my feelings about aliens, guys.
One.
Maybe
we
next
should. Maybe
episode.
next episode is about aliens.
Be fucking Tom DeLonge's best friend.
That's a name. So they're
Tom DeLonge. Am I right?
so they're pretty. I don't know what your concept of it is, because I feel like Stonehenge does look small, but the stone circle that we were at was fairly wide. It was
Was it like Bon
in
PUBG?
yeah, actually, that's about the right size.
I knew it.
Maybe a little bit smaller, but yeah, something like that. I think we have some good photos that will give it a little bit of scale.
Throw 'em up on
Again,
the big board.
just I will. Good landscape from there too. We went to some lakes as well. Took some cool photos. Some
I assume
nice.
it's too cold to swim in.
Mom stuck her feet in, but yeah, we didn't go swimming. It was pretty chilly.
Wait, they're called locks, right?
No,
Lock
that's in
Lake.
Scotland.
Oh, it's Scotland. Oh, yeah. That was close.
Yeah, it was close. But yeah, we had some tasty tea, skipped some rocks, took some cool portrait photos with the iPhones doing that cool portrait stuff. We got some good ones of that. And then drove down to this other small city where we stayed overnight. Ran into some GPS issues, which were eventually solved by a genius Sheen plan of get out of the car and figure out where we're going first, which worked super well. And then the next day, which was Mother's Day in the US, was a big surprise for Mom. She's a big Pride and Prejudice fan, and there is the estate where they filmed that is a part of the National Trust. So Dad had me tell Mom that Sheena and I wanted to go to this, this cool area that was like a really old building with some cool gardens and stuff. And that we'd been told it was super neat. So we really wanted to go. So we basically tricked Mom into going to this place, walked her up to the door and was like, hey, this is where they filmed Pride and Prejudice, at which point she basically died.
Rest in peace.
Rip Mom.
Yeah, Rip Mom. She was super happy. We did a tour inside, and in the entry hall, there is a piano that we found out like halfway through the tour that people who can play are allowed to like go up and try this really freaking old piano. So my mom's a piano teacher.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Come on. Let's go.
So we were like, oh my gosh, Mom knows how to play piano. And so we told like one of the room guide people, and he was like, well, let's go take her to the concert area place thing. So we brought her to the front room, and she was like freaking out. She was like, I don't know what to play. Like, I don't have anything memorized. I don't have my reading glasses. I can't read music right now. Like, we were like, no, it's just play with it, Mom. Whatever you want to do, just go get on it. So she's like kind of freaking out and like plinks out some notes and then does a scale and then suddenly starts playing like a famous piano piece that I don't know the name. She's played it many, many times. I don't know the name of it, but she starts playing and everybody in the entry hall just kind of stops and like surprised that this lady walked behind the like velvet rope and started playing the piano on this so awesome. As part of this room exhibit. So it was really cool. It was it's called Lime Park. That's the place where we went to for that. It's pretty fun, pretty neat. We had some decent food there as well. And lovely countryside, classic English garden stuff. Nothing too extravagant as far as the gardens go. I feel like I've seen a lot like crazier versions. Very reasonable.
That's awesome. That's so cool. She got to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Even that's awesome.
We were super happy that we were able to pull it off and get it all done, and then we got back safely, and it was great.
Good for you, man.
No side swipes.
How cool.
No side swipes.
Sweet.
My dad was a little bit panicky, basically. Like, by the time he got out of the car, every single time we drove, he was just, like, kind of shaken up.
But, yeah.
To be expected.
Right.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the barely PUBG-related Hot Drop podcast this week. Dan is clearly falling asleep.
Yeah.
And
I am.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're drunk and it's after midnight, so...
Big and true.
Tune in next week for more, probably just us talking about our lives and shit.
Something.
Let us know how you feel about this.
Maybe at one point we'll explain like what's going on with the show, but for now, this is what you get.
We're just enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like us or don't. I don't give a shit. Love you. Say it back.
Say it back.
Go.
This episode brought to you from
Hotel Daniels, California.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Why did I just go Indian? Anyway, all right.
Name one.
Water bottles, eating chips, really essentially eating anything, sitting up at the table.
Table manners are
I understand that. I'm trying to think of a good one here. There are things. I just can't think of it.
Name one.
I've named 3.
Those don't count.
Why not?
Because I said so.
Alrighty. Being quiet in cars.
I don't need quiet in the cars. I just need not the same joke a million times in a row.
You tell the same joke a million times in a row.
I'm funny.
No. You think you're funny, and that's okay. That's part. Put your hands on the wheel. Cody Herman.
Say I'm funny.
You're funny.
Yeah, Dad's funny. You're funny as hell.
No. Mm-mm. No, we're not doing this right now.
Funny as hell.
We're not blowing him up.
Funny as hell. Mark it down in the calendar.
From the 2 people you said you didn't want to hear jokes from. Because they weren't funny.
They
now deemed you funny as hell.
They just don't know when to quit.
Okay, well, you don't know when to quit sometimes either. You don't. Put your hands on the goddamn... You're the worst. You know when to quit and you're funny.
Glad we came to the right conclusion.
Go.
Ready? This episode brought to you from Hotels Dan.
Cincinnati Reds. Dad was right.
I wasn't fucking guessing.
I was reading the side of the stadium.
Ferris wheel.
Jesus fucking Christ. Lord, take me home. Shit. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Follow the sign to Louisville, I'm guessing.
What the hell? Yeah.
The Paul Brown Stadium.
Yeah.
That's it. I read it on the side of it. I wasn't.
Mom was right.
I wasn't just
Mom
guessing.
was right. She got it.
Just take a deep breath, baby. Deep, calming breaths. It's okay, boo. You're gonna make it. You're doing good. Now they're gonna give you a picture of coffee pouring. Right there you go.
United Dairy Farms. Nitro.
Why are you an old Southern gentleman now?
Full cool.
The further south you get.
Bengals.
I don't know what that is, but that's a cool looking building.
Cincinnati's interesting. It's very interesting.
It's
actually.
the
Look at that.
yeah. It's the only city in America that has the word sin in it twice. It is.
Cincinnati.
You can't count sing, because that's just the letters.
Cincinnati's not even spelled sin.
Sounded phonetically. It's a phonetic sin.
Phonetic sin.
Phonetic.
Welcome to Kentucky.
Kentucky!
And there's Burger King right down there.
That weird building. Yeah, I see.
Can we get drunk in our room
I
tonight?
need to. Sweet legal in Kentucky.
Recording.
Oh, I'm doing the brought to you by?
Yep.
Okay. All right. This episode brought to you from Dan's hotel bathroom because he doesn't want his neighbor to hear what's talking. Oh, fuck. Guys, I'm sitting in my bathroom right now. The guy
Trousers off.
I heard him cough. He did a cough.
When you're talking about him coughing,
He did a cough.
that made me laugh so hard.
I didn't want him to hear me talk about my life, so I have to come in the bathroom. And I got my feet up on my bidet. The bidet is here. It's so clean. This place, I tell you, boys, I tell you. They come in and clean 3 times a day. 3 times a day. You're not even in the room. You're not even making a mess.
Will they replace
3
the
times
Evian?
a day. They replace
many
the
times?
Evian. They replace the chocolates. They do it
There
all.
are
They do it
chocolates?
all. They give you chocolates. They
You didn't
tie
tell
your
us about the
frickin'
chocolates.
shoelaces together, boys. They tie your shoelaces
Wait,
together.
like a prank?
No.
They
no,
put
just to
saran
make the
wrap
shoes-
on the toilets, guys.
Just to make your shoes
And then they come in and clean
look
it up.
nicer. Just to make them look nicer. They just tie them up. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand,
fucked up.
but they do it.
I'd be mad if someone tied my shoelaces.
That's
Because
the
I'm just
5-star
going to
life,
untie
boys.
them to put them on.
Yeah.
5 stars. 5 stars.